Hello and welcome back to the Nast Metal production channel here at YouTube. Welcome to another album review. Today I'm gonna be reviewing the most recent release from cult 80s Swedish heavy metal band Mindless Sinner, titled Poltergeist, which was released on January 17th through Pure Steel Records. Now, this of course again very much a cult 80s Swedish metal band, again being originally formed back in 1982. Right, this is pretty much their fifth release if you were to count their debut EP, Master of Evil, from 1983, and of course their album that was released when they were under the name Mindless, titled Missing Pieces. So this is their fifth release, also their second release since their comeback in 2015 with the album The New Messiah, which was also released through Pure Steel Records at that time. So this is their second release since them reforming. That's of course again is most of the original members, at least for so far. I mean, most of the members at least played on some of their 80s releases. Again, they released about three releases in the 1980s. Again, Master of Evil, the EP, and of course Turn on the Power, 1986, and of course the album they released under the name Mindless, Missing Pieces. So with that, I guess without further ado, let's definitely kind of just get into the album Poltergeist. So, again, this is 10 songs, around 49 minutes and 15 seconds, and to be quite honest, this is a very much a solid, enjoyable album. I mean, it definitely kicks off with the strong song, which of course is the title track. The way it just opens up with the intro being very haunting and very very spooky in a way, before kind of building in to a very great sort of speedy heavy metal romp. That might think of classic 80s era Iron Maiden. And of course, besides the fact that even a song like, World of Madness, which might have one, be reminded of Aces High from Iron Maiden. I believe it is the song World of Madness, or it could be Rewind the Future. I believe it's the song World of Madness. I mean, most of these songs anyways are pretty fucking great. I mean, it just seems to have a way of keep going with, of course, with the very anthemic track like Heavy Metal Mayhem, to of course of course the very last track, Roll the Dice, and of course the very catchy Hammer of Thor. There's just not really a bad song on here. As far as any of this holding any sort of at least any identity of their earlier albums in the 1980s, it's definitely more updated, more modern sounding album. I mean, this when putting this one on, if you had never heard any of their earlier material like Master of Evil or Turn on the Power, you would definitely would be more reminded of some of the more recent material from Saxon and Judas Priest, and even at times Iron Maiden, and some of that on that aspect, or even reminded of other more modern Swedish metal bands like Wolf, for example. Just great stuff. Of course, I should even mention that the vocalist here, Christer Granson, I think is the way to pronounce, who of course again is the same guy that sang on some of the earlier stuff. It's the same singer, and He definitely sounds amazing on here. He really doesn't sound any different than how he did on some of those early material. He sounds like he definitely really kept his voice intact over the years. It's definitely quite amazing, and it's very impressive, and it's really what kind of propels this album to a lot more heights. It's just great stuff. I even also again even enjoy other songs off this album. So the more slower, more melodic tracks like Valkyrie and The Road to Nowhere, which are again just a great sort of stuff. There's really just not a bad song on here. I mean I can go in more in depth as much as I want to with this, but this is just a great fucking album from the band. Just a great, still just great stuff. Anyways, if you've never checked this band out before, and if this is your introduction, I would say this is definitely not a bad introduction. But definitely before checking this one, I definitely do recommend for sure beginning with releases such as Master of Evil and Turn on the Power, which are definitely great material and great sort of classic 80s raw Swedish heavy metal. Definitely in the vein of stuff like, I wouldn't say heavy load, but definitely close in stuff like maybe really early Europe or classic new wave or British heavy metal, just classic stuff. So really, all in all, this is definitely a solid album, and definitely one I definitely do recommend checking out. And if you were somebody that definitely also liked their material from Turn on the Power and Master of Evil, I definitely do recommend giving this their later material a shot, especially this one. This is definitely easily, I would say, is just as good as some of the stuff they did, and maybe a more refined, a lot more well oiled, and definitely more fine tuned. But this is still a very solid heavy metal album, and I can't really see anybody not enjoying this album. If you definitely do like just great sort of classic 80s style heavy metal, or just good old traditional heavy metal to begin with, I can't see you not liking this. This is definitely a great album for sure. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed this Every Thresh. Also, I just even forgot to give a score. I'm just completely in the midst of just talking and just being just really just hyping this album up in some way or form. I'm giving it an 8.70 out of 10. It's definitely a really good album from these guys. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed this Every Thresh. Sam out. I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.